Our Ian Duffy joins us live now. He's inside Mosaic Stadium to talk about what we can expect from the riders on the field tonight. Hey, Ian.
Hi, Lisa. I think that's actually the beauty of tonight's game is that no one really knows what to expect. Even the high-flying Ticats just put up 6 points in their debut last night. And talking to the riders, there's a big level of excitement and almost a playoff-type feel with all the hype. But there's also, you get the sense that there's a little bit of a nervous energy heading into this one. Even Cody Fajardo talked to us about how he hasn't taken a hit in almost 2 years. So he's looking forward to that first contact. And on the flip side, the defense hasn't tackled anyone in 2 years. So Fajardo said you can expect lots of quick passes, and you can also expect lots of emotion in the building from fans and players alike.
I think the biggest thing, and a lot for the younger players, including myself, I'm going to be extremely nervous and I'm going to be up front.
I think it's going to be really special when they play that national anthem. And maybe they'll give us a couple extra minutes after the anthem before they kick off to compose ourselves and get going again.
And if you're looking to make tonight even more special for the province, consider the fact that there are 9 Saskatchewan-born players currently on the roster, 4 of which will be starting on the offensive line tonight. An offensive line that took a big hit yesterday when it was announced that left tackle Taron Vaughn will likely miss the remainder of the season. So we're just a couple injuries away from basically me getting in the lineup. But in all seriousness, I just wanted to give a shout out to our good friend Warren Woods, who we lost during the pandemic to COVID-19. He will certainly be missed in the press box here tonight. Lisa.
And as federal mandates for vaccines begin, more local mandates are emerging as well. Saskatchewan's 2 universities have both come out with official vaccination measures for the fall term. As Emily Olson explains, they're not taking any chances. The NHL officially returned to the ice tonight, and this time without a bubble. The action north of the border began with a rivalry game in Toronto, something we'll hear a lot of this year with the new All-Canadian division. Team Canada has officially announced its roster for the upcoming World Junior Hockey Championship, and this year, 3 Saskatchewan-born players have cracked the roster.
Ian Duffy joins us now live at the Brandt Centre for an update on how they've gotten to this point and what the players are saying about play on the ice. Hey, Ian.
Yeah, Lisa, while the schedule is winding down, the competition is really just heating up. Winnipeg just beat Saskatoon 4-1 here behind me. Both teams battling Brandon for first place in the division with 2 games remaining. And like you said, it's been really impressive that we've made it all this way to the final weekend without a single issue or positive test, COVID test that is, here in the Regina hub. And that's really a credit to all the work that's gone in behind the scenes. And this is the only division that can actually say that across the WHL. They've had positive tests and rescheduled games in all 3 of the other regions in Alberta, BC, and the American division. As for the play on the ice, it's been easy to kind of disregard the meaning of each game with no playoffs on the line, but while coaches have been using this time to develop and play young players, the goal of winning every time out hasn't changed.
We're all young hockey players, and what we want to do is win, and that's, you know, I know every team wants to win every night. I know winning's a lot more fun than losing. So I think it's just, you know, the fact that there's not going to be playoffs this year. I mean, it doesn't play a huge role in the competitive level out there.
It has always been our goal to do as best as we can and to develop as many kids as we can. But to have that opportunity to finish, it's been competitive throughout, and there's been rivalries and in the bubble and playing each other as much as we have for as long as we've been. It's competitive and it's a lot of fun, and I think everyone here wants to win.
You just heard the guys talking about the level of competition. Even I've had to be reminded that there really is no off switch in a rivalry, with the exception of maybe a couple games where the guys look tired. Whether it's been Prince Albert and Saskatoon, Regina and Moose Jaw, there's been plenty of chirping, some fighting, even some suspensions. So that spark and passion is definitely still there, and we will see that again tonight when the Pats meet the Warriors. All 3 of their previous meetings have gone to overtime, so it should be another good one here tonight. Lisa?
If I would rate it from 1 to 10, I would say a 10, because he's just pretty stoked to be able to play with his friends again.
After being relegated to driveway hoops for over 3 months, you can feel the excitement as soon as you walk through the doors at Laval High School in Regina, where Hoop Life has launched their summer basketball camps.
But be in control, does that make sense?
Having it back is crazy. I love going to the gym, hanging out with my friends, doing drills.
If you're going to stay at home all the time, you're not going to be doing that exercise that you kind of need. So just for them to be out here, putting some shots and hanging out with some of their friends and some new faces that they're going to see, I think it's a pretty huge change for them.
While being able to get back in the gym and play basketball brings an obvious happiness level for the kids, the mental health aspect of the return is palpable for both players and parents at Hoop Life's first week of camp.
It is great for the kids, not just mentally wise as well as emotional wise, because being at home, I know I try my best to keep them active, but it's also different to be able to socialize. I guess that's the main thing.
Camp looks a little different right now, with the gym divided into quadrants and athletes bringing their own ball, with some not even able to register for opening week because of the volume of interest. But Hoop Life, a company that already emphasizes the mental side of the game, has made it even more of a focus.
Our main goal is to use basketball as a tool to teach confidence. If we believe if you're confident, you can do anything you want. So we, especially during COVID and everything, when we're doing our online training, we want to encourage the kids as much as we can, making sure they're having a good time and they're just believing themselves, that they don't get discouraged because of this whole COVID thing.
Ian Duffy, Global Sports.
Saskatoon roots.
Now, this is the first neutral site outdoor game in Canada. Why is it important for you guys to have an event like this in a city that doesn't have an NHL franchise? A couple more injury notes for you. Josh Mahura of the Pats and Brett Howden of the Warriors both hurt earlier this week in the Canada-Russia series. Well, Howden is out tonight for the Warriors. Mahura checks in for the Pats. Both of these teams will go at it again on Sunday in Moose Jaw. We'll have all the highlights for you of tonight's game on Global News at 10. Now the Leopoldus Golden Suns here in the semis. James will have to race out here after the game. His sons, Sam and Ben, with a big playoff game over at the U of R. But the semifinals here tonight, the finals underway tomorrow. Taylor? Whether it be on the pond or in a backyard rink, hockey in its purest form doesn't have referees or painted lines or big salaries. And the players at this year's Heritage Classic were reminded of that when they hit the ice in the open air at Mosaic Stadium, including Jets captain Blake Wheeler, who has his own backyard rink for his son to create those same memories.
To kind of share that with him and see him, just strap his skates on and go out there by himself and tool around for a half hour. I mean, that's pretty cool because, that those are my memories and how I fell in love with the game, and he's doing the same thing. So, for me, that's where I just sit in the window and watch him, and it kind of reminds you what it's all about, and so that's pretty cool.
Even here, right in a huge stadium, you get out in the open air, it's just better. It's a better way to practice. It brings you right back to all the things that are great about the game, and it's also pure in that for everybody in this room who's ever had skates on, it's what we all share. So I'll never know what it's like to be like Blake Wheeler, to play in the NHL, skate like that, but we all share that, boys and girls, outdoor rinks.
And growing up in a family of Rider fans, Jets defenseman Josh Morrissey is getting his own enjoyment from skating at field level at Mosaic.
My grandparents, lived here their whole lives, and my dad did until he was an adult. So definitely, at Christmas growing up, my grandparents would, gift us Rider jerseys and hats and stuff like that. So it was tough growing up in Calgary, I guess, as a Rider fan, and then getting drafted by Winnipeg. It's kind of the trifecta of rivals. So it's been an interesting transition that way.
About halfway between Calgary and Winnipeg, you can expect to see plenty of blue and red in the crowd tonight, but as Morrissey knows, you can also expect to see plenty of Rider jerseys as well. Ian Duffy, Global Sports. Klay Thompson returning to the Warriors lineup despite the hamstring injury. Bad news for Golden State. The Raptors still have that guy, Kawhi Leonard, and despite both teams struggling early on, those two did not. Thompson from deep, 28 on the night, but on the ensuing possession, the claw with the answer, and he put the Raptors on his back in the opening 12. Down 13 with 45 seconds left to play in the quarter. Kawhi just took the ball and went to work inside and out, pulling the Raps within just 6 to end the quarter.
And I'm not going to lie, at one point this weekend, you see those high temperatures there. I did try to go without air conditioning.
And how did that go for you?
I tried to be a hero, and it immediately blew up in my face, and I regretted it. That AC was back on.
It's hard. It was a hot weekend.
Yeah, very quickly. And before we go to break, they'll be seeing double at one school in Scotland. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Saskatchewan's wildfire situation showing no signs of letting up, with extreme heat warnings and no rain in the forecast. Residents in the northeast are preparing for evacuation.